And we are back for the second half of this exciting match between Hammertron, Mahuika, and Ellipsis from Australia. The first half of the game, the points blistering by faster than the speed of stream. My name, as always, is Blair Munro. This is the 2023 New Zealand Ultimate Championships at Ngā Puna Sports Complex in Christchurch. Ellipsis having just taken half on Galaxy Point, the score 6-all. Ellipsis putting in a big score to take half, to come out very shortly against Hamatron playing in dark. It's been a dynamic game. There's been a little bit of sort of contested calls, some very intense physicality for the game so far, some really clinical offense, some amazing layout blocks, and they all happen just a little bit too fast for us to record for you on stream. But we are here for the most important part of the game, the one that decides the winner. And when the second half starts off 7-6, the game clearly has not yet been decided. And so Ellipsis coming out on defense now. Okay, Hamatron starting out on offense. Puts the disc across, finds Maria Smith, threads through the zone. Kelly Carter, one of the greatest to ever play the game. Working with Smith and ball, finds Anne-Marie Domper. Back to Carter, Smith in the midfield. McDonald cutting into space, shut off by the zone. Count getting a little bit high, players crowding the disc from the Ellipsis side. But there's the space, it's Kater Perry to Carter, very close to the end zone. Nikki White trying to cut through, trying to use those indoor tippy-tap toes for a score. Carter goes wide, there's a big touch from the Ellipsis defense, and that is going to be a turn of possession. Domper tries to put a mark on quickly. Witherall reaches up, pulls that one down, floats a backhand out front. The defense taking its time getting in position. Slight overthrow, position will go back to Hammertron. Mahuika with an opportunity to work back up the field and put on the first point of the second half. Nice throw through, but a touch from the Ellipsis defense is going to be enough to generate possession back the other way. Hammertron setting up a zone. Kater Perry. Abby Lawrence, Anne-Marie Domper pressuring on the defense. A zone, trying to shut down space as opposed to isolating those individual player matchups. Mandy Lee hoping to shift the defense. Has to take a short option to Otten. Right close to the end zone, and there is the score. Eva Witherall. So Ellipsis going up by 2, taking the first point of the second half of their game. Great patience by the Ellipsis side to put that one away despite great pressure from the Hamatron defense. So Ellipsis to send out on defense yet again. definitely picking up. It's going to have a significant impact on the rest of the game as it shakes out. A game to 13, 75 minutes soft cap, 15 minutes left on the clock, at which point, if it comes to that, we'll add 1 point to the highest score and play a straight race to whatever that number is. So if it comes to that, it's important for Hamatron Mahuika to keep everything in this game, to keep as close to toehold as they can. Ellipsis constantly looking to generate more breaks, maybe get an opportunity to pull even further ahead. We see the signal of readiness. Eva Weatherall with the disc. Puts a nice long pull. Touches down around the brick mark. Simone Ball, Maria Smith, Kelly Carter working the disc through the zone. Using that textbook Hammertron give-go play to stay two steps in front of the defensive players. And then as soon as the defense clamp around, using the width to go around, just keeping the defense on their toes. As long as the defense is out of position, it can't do its job. Ball has the disc as Ellipsis tries to force that arrowhead slowly down. Hogan back to Carter. To Hogan. Smith as a reset option. Supported on the far sideline by Emma Taylor. Simone Ball, a quick 2-meter option. Working with Carter, just patiently moving the disc. Big fakes, hoping to shift the defense. Players coming back behind the disc to just chip away at it. Smith and Ball working now. It's almost like they're playing a game of keep away. Hogan goes wide. Taylor with a good read on the far sideline. There's no pressure on the disc just yet. No options being shut off. She wants to wind up beforehand. She puts one up. Who is she looking for? Looking for Hogan, but Weatherall's the one who comes down with it. Hamatron need to pile on that defensive pressure if they want to generate a turn and stop Ellipsis going back the other way. Weatherall unceremoniously kicking the cone off the corner of the field. Throws, a forehand comes up wide, a little bit of a blade on that one, touches down early. Smith and Carter. Hogan with a nice fake to shift the defense. Ball on the near sidelines and as an option. Carter goes wide with Hogan. Moves the disc back through Taylor to Ball. A lot of space on this near sideline, choosing not to use it. Looks like Ellipsis might be trying to force the offense to move in that direction. Very patient offense from Hamatron here. Threading through, finds Grace Jourdain. Back to Ball, very close now. Puts a shot up. Oh, the wind's got it underneath, but Nikki White comes down with it. A great performance by White, putting a score up over the Ellipsis defender to bring it back to a 1-point game. Ellipsis 8, Hamatron Mahuika 7. Nice wide open backhand, just a lot of trust there. Wind starts to play with a little bit. Which player's gonna get the read? We see it. It's White with the better position. Comes down with the score for Hamatron. A break here will tie the game. Some last-minute defensive communication from the Hamatron side as they come down hoping to generate another break to keep the game on serve. Carter with the pull, going to send it low. Nice, beautiful roll deep into the end, the defensive zone for Ellipsis. Grace Jourdain heading up the zone defense. Marangi Hogan taking out that middle space, playing aggressive. Supported in that second line by Anne-Marie McDonald and Kelly Carter. Katie Son hoping to get a bite on that one. It's not going to come away, but we're going to shut down the up line from the Hamatron perspective. Keep that arrowhead in position. Ellipsis slowly working the disc back. Drops a big hammer over the top. Over the top of the intended receiver. So possession will go back to Hamatron. An opportunity here for them to tie up the game. White recenters. Finds Kelly Carter, Anne-Marie McDonald on a great aggressive upline. Kelly lets rip. Big uncorker looking for Hogan. Gets a touch to it, but it's not going to be enough. What a huge play, but the disc goes back to Ellipsis. Jourdain up front, applying great pressure to the mark. The disc can only go wide. Manages to hit an inside, but it's tipped off the fingers of Aroha Hughes. Great work by Ellipsis to slowly get away, but as they try and continue up that far sideline, a bobble off the hands gives the disc back to Hammertron. A golden opportunity here for the mighty Mahuika. Kelly Carter with a high backhand. Pulled down by Nikki White. The cheeky tree pose. You love to see it. Some great work there. Looked like Anne-Marie McDonald was trying to get underneath that disc. Recognized it was going to be slightly overthrown. White moves into position to clean that one up. 8-8 with 9 minutes left on the clock. What a match. Taylor with the disc now to start everything off. Every single point becomes more and more important the later into this game we get, with no margin for error. Every opportunity is being capitalized on by both of these sides, playing with huge intensity and really, really extreme skill. Up there is the signal for readiness. Emma Taylor puts the roller on early, touches down, drives out towards the near sideline. An opportunity for Hamatron to use the zones they've been practicing all season to really apply some sideline pressure. Ellipsis having to uncork a big forehand at a high stall. Carter's underneath it. But it's Pigeon with a quick finish to Weatherall to go 9/8. Pigeon brings it down with a thumb. Great timing on that one. Weatherall giving the player just enough space to quit an offload for a quick score. 1 point in the game. for readiness for the Ellipsis pull. Hoping to put another point on, widen up the score. A hold here keeps Hamatron in the game. 5 minutes left on the clock. Not a huge amount of roll. In fact, it's rolling back the other way. So Ellipsis is stopping their own pull. Not too far from the sideline, or from the halfway mark, rather. Katrina puts one high, and Ellipsis are able to capitalize on this one. Hogan applying pressure on the defense. Dompa allows the disc to go to Witherall center field. Pushes the backhand to the near sideline. A lot of Hammertron players around, applying a huge amount of pressure. And as the defensive trap starts to close, the disc comes in, blade down. Simone Ball looks like to be putting one up. There's definitely some description of contact on the play. Is there going to be a call? See that again. Diving bid from the Ellipsis. I think it's good that the players are having a bit of a discussion. Remember that it is a self-officiated game. Players take it upon themselves to learn the rules and to make calls and resolve them as they feel is appropriate on the field. And so it looks like the question is going to be whether or not that there was contact with the disc or with the player to generate that that turnover, or whether or not it was just a cold drop, whether there was no contact at all. The perils of a self-officiated game when the score is so narrow, the single point in it, every pass making a difference. It's very, very important and can be quite difficult to players to maintain a cool head and have the discussion as it should be had. So it looks like that will be a contested play, which again is a good display of spirit. Players recognizing, hey, we're not going to be able to come to an amicable conclusion, but we still want to continue playing. So the disc will go back to the last player who had the disc. On the near sideline. Ellipsis players shutting down space rather than the players themselves. Not able to get the reset away. The disc will go back to Ellipsis in their own half. One big shot's all it might take. There's the big forehand under pressure, but it comes down too low. Touches turf, and it's going to give the disc back to Hamatron. A big fake. Opens up the midfield reset. And Marie McDonald with the disc. Deep into the Hammertron Mahuika defensive zone, works the backhand to the far side, and Marie Dompa to McDonald. Hogan has the disc now. Patient, fires to the far sideline. Dompa able to reset to Hogan. Patience offense from this Hamatron is going to be the thing that is key for them. Ellipsis are slowly managing to work them towards the far sideline and pin them down there. Passive cuts from Mahuika means they're not gaining a lot of yards off some of these shots. Looks like Ellipsis managed an interception on that one. The disc is going to change position yet again. Ellipsis not wanting to give the disc back to Hamatron another time. Katrina applying great defensive pressure there. But the backhand rather, comes up the near sideline. There's the big shot with a big blade on it. Nikki White says no. Our Hamatron Sky Fighter giving the disc back. It's a big long shot. Who's there underneath it? The ground, but a great territorial option by Hamatron. It's going to allow them to apply their pressure early while the Ellipsis side reset. It's also going to take them away from their own defensive end zone and maybe take away some of that pressure. When you're right in front of the end zone, you have to stop every single pass. When you've got a bit more room like Hamatron do now, there's a bit more space to them. Looks like there might have been a touch on that, and then an interception. The reset gets swung the other way. That is our soft cap. So we are going to conclude this point, add 1 to the final score, and then race to that number. If Ellipsis are able to score, it's going to be a game to 11. If Mahuika manage to generate a turn and get the break, it is going to be a game to 10. Everything on the line. That's just what Hamatron needed. Tried to uncork one too early, but Ellipsis managed to get a touch. Pushes to the far sideline. Managing to work up the sideline. Evil Weatherall with the disc. Nice, comfortable reset, marked out by Simone Ball. Disc comes back to center field. Goes wide, Anne-Marie Domper getting those hands high. Trying to stop anything going past. Arrowhead from our Hammertron. Huntresses, they're putting it up. A great tip, but Weatherall's able to clean that one up, and Ellipsis put one on the board. The score is 10-8 in favor of the side from Australia, but there is still points to play. Looks like we're going to have a game to 11. Just took the Hamatron defense a little bit long to get into position. There were 2 options available in the end zone and only 1 defender available to cover them. The defense cannot take away everything, and so there was quite a comfortable finish there for Ellipsis. With only 1 point left for Ellipsis to win this game and a 3-point run for Hamatron if they want to walk away with a second W after their impressive performance over Nexus Flexus earlier this morning. Ellipsis, having already dropped their first game to Misfits from Auckland, comprised largely of our New Zealand under-20 women's side. One break away if Ellipsis want to win this game. A hold and back-to-back breaks from Hamatron if they want to win. Weatherall with the pull. Touching down just outside of the near sideline, so there's going to be a brick call. There's no positional advantage conferred to the Ellipsis side for that out-of-bounds pull. Hamatron will take the disc about midfield, 18 meters in front of their own end zone. Hogan manages to find Taylor. Taylor under pressure, but Hogan's free. Lets a big one rip. Who's underneath it? The Ellipsis defense. A long field ahead of them if they want to put this game away now. Grace Jourdain trying to pressure the mark. A match defense from the Hamatron side. That's exactly what Hamatron are looking for. A great bid by the Ellipsis offense, but it's not going to be enough to keep it in bounds. Kelly Carter in position to close. Puts the shot up. Big touch off that one. It's going to go back to Ellipsis. Long field ahead. Ellipsis setting up in a horizontal stack. 3 of their handlers back. Some great aggressive pressure on the disc, but they're able to go over the top. Finding Evil Weatherall marked by Grace Jourdain. Looks like that disc was out of bounds, so possession's going to swing back to Hamatron. An opportunity here for Hull to bring it back within one, and then two back-to-back breaks is going to be enough to win them the game, but it is a long path as Kelly Carter resets to Hogan in the midfield. To Hughes, back to Hogan, to Taylor near side, fakes the massive backhand, decides to holster it, moves across to Kelly Carter, chips one through, back to Emma Taylor, far corner, it's Grace Jourdain. Bertram, sorry. And Ellipsis' response. Trying to take out the commentary booth. Clearly they must have heard what I've been saying about them. That's a joke, folks. I'm relatively impartial. Looks like there was a call on that disc though. So Ellipsis might retain possession. Disc pressured. Weatherall manages to keep it in hand. Marked by Smith. Weatherall puts a big one out into space, looking for territory by the seam of things. Hamatron in a position to answer with one of their own, but Carter works with Hughes, pushes towards the far sideline with Hogan. Recenters to Taylor, takes away a few yards from that one. Just off the tip of Hughes' fingers. Great pressure by Hughes to generate that turn. Such an imposing and powerful presence on the mark. Taylor, Carter, working through that zone. Works to Hughes, to Hogan on the far sideline. You can tell she wants to unleash her backhand, but it's not going to come. Resets instead, finds Smith back through the zone. Hughes tries to take a knee to keep that one in bounds, but a timeout has been called. So, what a dynamic half we've had in this Ellipsis Hammertron matchup. Ellipsis currently ahead by 2. The soft cap has gone. A score here by Ellipsis wins them the game. We are 10 minutes past soft cap. Both of these teams grinding it out. So we are about to come back in. Hamatron on defense, just outside their own defensive half. Eva Wetherall to start things off. Hughes on the mark. Ellipsis setting up in a vertical stack. Emma Taylor, Briar Bertram bracketing the unders, trying to keep those downfield players away from the disc if possible, to just pressure that throw a little bit. The disc is live. Players start to move. Huge play by Maria Smith to shut that one down. Kelly Carter essentially triple teamed by the defense as they've recognized her as a threat and have to shut that down. Hogan with the disc. Finds Hughes. Looking back towards the infield. Carter to Smith, back to Carter, working through the zone. Threads a laser beam to Hogan. No one's quite downfield enough, so she takes her time, looks to work back with Carter and Hughes. Smith has Taylor on the high side, far sideline. Back to Carter, nice little bounce pass. Hogan back to Carter. Patient offense here is what is necessary. Great work by Hogan to open that up. Has to work backwards through Taylor. Hughes, Taylor and Carter now slowly taking the field back inch by inch, one step at a time as necessary. Lasers one through to Smith. Hogan. Hughes, Carter. Carter with a big floaty backhand. Eva Wetherall's closing. But it's Emma Taylor with a cheeky little kick spike, putting that one on the board. Hammertron back within 1. Now 2 back-to-back breaks necessary for a Mahuika victory. Ellipsis just need 1 hold. Hamatron defensive line. Smith, White, Jourdain, Carter, McDonald, Ball, Hogan. Some very powerful players for the Mahuika side. With the disc for the pull. Our second attempt at streaming a Hamatron game. Lets the big one rip. Oh, just out of bounds. So we will see Ellipsis brick the disc, bringing it back to center field. Setting up what looks like a loose sort of horizontal stack with 4 handlers back, 3 downfielders. Against the Hamatron zone. Briar Bertram on the mark. supported by Maria Smith, but the big forehand goes up. Kelly Carter's trying to get underneath it. Great bid by the Ellipsis offense, but it's not gonna be enough. Nikki White pressuring deep. Simone ball to McDonald. Back to ball, near sideline to McDonald, unmarked, there's no pressure. Carter with the disc, hoping to close this one out, bring it back to a tied game. A necessary break option for them here. Hogan had the disc, has to look back, finds McDonald. Back to Sim, threads one through to Kelly Carter. Right on the doorstep, it's Briar Bertram with the score and the tied game. One more break for Hamatron, bringing it back to 10 apiece. This is going to be the last point of the game. Can Ellipsis, the side from Australia, get it together and keep possession of the disc for the next point? Or are Hamatron's aggressive defenders going to be able to generate a turn and close out the game with a victory? 15 minutes past our initial soft cap, but this is the last point. We are going to stick with this game before we move pretty quickly straight into our next stream game, which is going to be Groot Volume 1 versus Hammertron Tawhiri Matia. I promise it's not commentator bias. This is actually the stream schedule as provided. Okay, this is it. It all comes down to this. The big pull from Hamatron. It's going to give their defense enough time to set up, generate a turn, and walk away with a win, or is Ellipsis going to be able to 1-2 step it all the way into the end zone for a comfortable score and a win? We're seeing Ellipsis set up in a vertical stack. They're going to try and push the long option by the looks of things. Just punch a big one into the end zone. But aggressive defense is going to carry the disc out wide. That's going to be the turnover that Hamatron needs. Inside their offensive half, they're looking at maybe 20 to 30 meters away from a score. Simone Ball aggressive with the disc. That upline wasn't going to come. She just sends the backhand looking for Maria Smith, who manages to clean that one up, looks back, finds Maringi Hogan. Simone Ball goes over the top to Smith, McDonald, Carter. Who's going to finish it out? It's Maringi Hogan with the score and the win for Hamatron Mahuika. What a way to finish. Experience, need, fear, the strength of youth, as Maringi Hogan really fires through with that great cut. Enough separation to squeak through and drop toe in the end zone for the score and the win. Hamatron Mahuika currently 2-0. Ellipsis putting a huge amount of pressure on that game, taking half, having a wide lead, having it snatched away from them in the closing moments of the game, nearly 20 minutes after the original soft cap went. What a fantastic performance by both of these teams. Could not be more excited to see how the rest of the tournament shakes out for them. But until then, and we'll be back with you in just a few moments with Hammertron Tawhiri Matia versus Groot. My name is Blair Monroe. This has been the 2023 New Zealand Ultimate Championships in Ngā Puna Wai Sports Hub in Christchurch. Proudly
ULTI.TV.
The money. We'll be back with you very shortly.